Welcome to Stories of Hope. I'm Christine Hotchkiss. Each week, I bring you stories that will inspire you, educate you, and of course, to give you hope. Whew, that's a powerful word, hope, is it not? I want to say thank you to my studio sponsors, the Motivated Mind Group here in downtown Chandler, where you can get all your media production needs. So I will put the link in and check them out. Today, my guest, this is going to be a heavy one, but it's the reality of someone's life. We all talk about acts of kindness and paying it forward. Well, this changed one person's life. My guest today is Norma Trujillo, and she stopped to help an elderly couple and was tragically dragged by a vehicle. She woke up months later to discover that she suffered third-degree burns, had multiple broken bones, lost both of her legs, was decapitated on sight. But out of all of that, you're going to learn what she has done, and that was with the attitude of Norma made a conscious decision to start her journey of recovery to live her best life. Please help me welcome my guest, Norma. Hi, Norma.
Hi, thank you so much for bringing me along and sharing my story. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
So you and I actually met through a referral of another individual that I had interviewed. And that was in 2019. We just talked about that before we started airing this. And how much time goes by so fast, right. I don't think we realize it, right?
Right. It goes by very fast, just like a blink of an eye.
It does. So let's get into how your life was changed, because this is going to be one that's going to hit me as well as other people, especially when it comes to trying to help people. And then when something happens like this, how you find the inspiration and the hope out of it all. So in April of 2017, let's go back and start where it all began. How'd this happen?
Well, at that time, I was 32 years old, and it was the April 19th of 2017, and it was just a normal, typical day where I was actually a mom, a mother, a wife, and I was teaching my daughter at that time her youth soccer coach team, because I was her coach for many years. And I decided to get off early, 30 minutes early, so I can drop my niece off, because I was teaching her at the same time how to drive. And at that same time, we noticed where we're leaving, we stopped on a four-way streets, and a car stalled out in front of us, and I thought to myself, you know what, this couple needs a handout. They need help. So I looked at my niece, and I told her one word, and that was switch, hand her off the keys, and I got out. I introduced myself, helped them get their vehicle off the road, went on the side, and in a blink of a moment, my life completely changed. It was the moment where the car came, he hit a pothole, and it was already an orange light, and he kept going, and he ran right smack into me with the other vehicle. At that moment, I became cervical decapitated on the spot, which I lost 90% movement on my neck, and I became bilateral above the knee amputee with both of my legs. Also had third-degree burns all the way from the right side of my shoulder to my arm, to my wrist, to my abdominal, even to my breast area. And my jaw was kind of splattered everywhere, and my left ear was hanging off. I lost one kidney, and it was just one thing after another, where when I woke up, I was completely shattered, piece by piece. And it was 2 months.
I would be, forgive me, having a visual here and all the things that you just shared. The word you used, being shattered, is in such a different way now that I see it. You literally were shattered.
I was shattered from head to toe. And at that moment, when people tell you, hey, you lost so much time, you lost days, weeks, months, and they tell you that your life is completely 360. You just wake up, and the first thing I thought was, how can I get it all back? It's not over.
I love what you just said. I'm very empathic, so forgive me if I get a little emotional on this. There are a lot of times, if not all the time, that people will say, have a great week, have a great weekend. And I'm always saying, because you know I have a story as well, I'm always saying, I only have today so far, but thank you. Because we assume that we're going to have the week ahead of us. We assume we're going to have even the entire day ahead of us, let alone the weekend that we all look forward to, right? I don't take these things lightly. I go, you know what? Tomorrow's not promised. And then even so, like you just said, even if it is promised, it could be changed in a heartbeat, right?
Yes.
So now,
Just like if,
yes. So being shattered, and you had this attitude of, I'm going to get back up. Even though you had all these things you just listed that someone would say are against me, but you found a way to get back up. And how did you do that? Because that's a mindset that when someone's feeling shattered or down or depressed, the last thing they're going to think is, I'm going to get back up and see what I can do. And it's very nice to hear that you say that you want to get back up. So where did you get this determination to get back up?
honestly, I got it from my family. It was from my husband who stood by my side all those times in the hospital. And when I woke up, he was the one who told me that, you know, you lost both your legs, you were in this horrible accident. But the fact that he did not leave my side and the fact that my family was there taking care of my children, that was the strength I knew that I had, that everything was going to be okay. It was going to take a slower pace. It was going to make slow movements to move those mountains. But with the people, the support of my family, I knew that it was a small step to recover this brand new life. And the most important thing was the community. Here in my hometown, the community came together and they helped me out by to mobile, to health, to, you know, financially. And I was just beyond blessed of words, that I was just like, if all these people believe in me and believe in this life that I was giving a second chance, then I have the opportunity, I have the moment where I just need to keep going. I can't let anybody down, especially myself or my children.
I love that you said, especially myself. I think we put ourselves, especially as moms, we put ourselves last because we take care of everybody else, but it does have to come with us first, kind of like the oxygen mask in the airplane, right? And you got to put yours on first before you can help anybody else. So I have a couple of questions here. How long was the recovery?
Well, I was in a coma for about 2 months. I was in April, and I didn't wake up to the end of May, but really got fully conscious in June. And then I started walking again on my legs. The first time I stood up was in September.
So let me
So
go
just
back.
kind of shortly.
So you had mentioned that you had lost your legs, and then you just said that you got back up on your legs. You have prosthetics.
That's right. I have 2 prosthetics that's way above my hips.
Oh, above your hips. Okay. So I am going to let everyone know that I've gotten to see some of your progress on social media, and pretty remarkable to just keep moving forward. I think you had some time where you had actually gotten different prosthetics at one time too, or is that wrong?
I got some other prosthetics that let me be more active and be more mobile. I tried out the running blades, and I found out that that was just a new concept of like, wow, this is a new balance, you know?
Okay.
Yeah, I was like, I need to be more stronger for this. And then I had some other prosthetics where they were just stubbies, where they were all the way down to the ground. And that made me learn how to be more active and more independent towards myself. So I can be as tall as 3 feet all the way up to probably 10 feet if I wanted to.
Oh my God.
So.
I know that I can laugh because it's one of those things, you've already said that, but it's like one of those, like a chair. When you sit at the chair, you have that little lever, like
Yes.
you want to go down. Okay, I'm going to be down. You're going to pop it back up. You're pop it back up. And you can have fun with it is what it sounds like you're doing. And you're getting to do other things that we can't do when we have our set length of legs. So you're inspiring on that
I
one.
just learned how to be more adaptable and more understanding that if I need to be low to the ground to be more independent, as in, you know, saving my energy, saving my ability to like move around more, that's okay. I'm fine with that.
Okay.
If I have to be as tall like I am as 5 feet, to be reached to cabinets or like other things like that, I'm okay with that as well. And if I'm dealing with a health issue as like blisters on my nubs or anything, I'm okay to go back on my chair. So there's three different ways of living, and I'm all right with that.
Very diverse. So going back to the recovery, people that I know who have been in hospital beds for a length of time, especially out of a coma, you lose weight, you lose appetite, you lose mobility, you lose speech, all the functions that we are taking for granted every day. Is that stuff that you had to deal with, starting all over and learning how to do again?
I did. I had to see a speech therapist. I had to see occupational. I had to see physical therapists. I had to see plastic surgeons. I had to see a neurologist. I had to see all these different type of doctors that come into my room because I had to learn how to move my muscles all over again, even to the tip of my fingertips, to just sitting up and moving my little nubs that I have, the little part of my legs, and trying to learn how to turn my neck with the little movement that I had, and even learning how to use my voice all over again, even the dial tone and the volume and everything. So it was a different type of recovery that I really felt like I was a newborn baby being born in this human body, adult body.
Wow. It's going through my brain on how you start from, like you said, when you're an adult body, but you're starting from scratch like a baby, with a different mindset at that. So let's go into, I love the fact that your family stuck with you. There are people who, it's too much for them when something like this comes into their life and they'll leave. And that's just the way that people are. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, it's just sometimes people are not meant to do those extra super things like your husband is. How has how's your family been when this all came about? Because they were affected by it too. You just physically were.
Oh yes, they were mentally affected. Honestly, there were some family members who just wanted to wrap me up in a piece of bubble and make sure the world was safe and I was being okay, and they wanted to help out in any way they could. And there was family members who just didn't know what to say, really, to talk to me, like they didn't have the words to comfort me. And there was other family members who were just like, if you need help, I'm here for you. Like they let me figure things out. And there was other family members who were just like, I could do that for you. Why do you want to do that? I could do that for you, you know? And it was just all different diverse type of help. And I was just like, this is amazing. Like they let me grow. They let me figure things out for myself. And if I couldn't figure out things, I would say, can you show me? Don't do it for me. Can you show me another technique or another ability? And that's where I just had that amazing support, especially with my husband. He was just remind me physically and mentally, like, you're going to be okay. We are going to be okay. You're not in this by yourself. We are in this together. If you want to talk something, I will listen to you. If you just want to sit, I will sit next to you. If you have a problem, speak to me and we will get it together.
Wow.
So that really helped me tremendously to really understand the concept of what I was dealing with every single day, every obstacle I was in my way, whether it was just in my house's surroundings or it was out in the world with buildings and going in through new territory that I would took for granted every single day. So it was a big impact.
So, social media is whatever you want to, look at it. It's a perception of whoever it is that's looking at it, whether it's photos or trips or posts, and someone will think it's one way or another. And so we always show our best face forward with smiles and stuff. But here's the question I have. As much as you were determined to live your best life, and the struggles that you were having to start all over with everything, how often were you in there saying, I know I got to do this, but I just don't want to do it today? Do you ever feel like giving up?
You know what? I'm going to be completely honest with you. With my Facebook, I put everything out there.
I do too.
I put on my good days. I put on my bad days because I show people that it's not easy. And every other day I'm just like, oh, I don't want to put on my legs. I don't want to do this, because for me it feels like a 24-hour gym. I feel like I'm always in the gym and working out and, getting that encouragement. So I'm very humble when I tell people I fell today and it was embarrassing because it was in the store or parking lot. But you know what? I couldn't just lay there. I had to get up, and I just tell people my good and bad, because I feel like they need to hear both sides to
Absolutely.
understand there's reasons behind like what I'm doing, and my life is not rainbow and glitters. It also comes with storms and thunderclouds, and
Sure
it
does.
depends on my perspective of how I want to go out with it. So if anybody's ever having a bad day, I want them to look on my Facebook, my personal life, and be like, oh, she went through that. How did she go through it? And I'll be like, with tears and laughter,
And that's
It's
why I
just one
do
of
what
those
I do.
things. Hmm.
That's what I'm doing. What I'm doing is because it isn't all about, like you said, the sunshine. There are the clouds. We are best for showing the good
Hmm.
days, but sometimes someone could look like they have themselves put together, or they look like they have a good day, and that's the only thing that's keeping them from fighting the sadness or the depression that's within them if they just are on the
Hmm.
outward of everything. Not so much who am I trying to impress, or I don't want anyone to think anything bad or feel sorry for me. I'm sure you've heard that one too. I know I have.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Um, and at the end here, I'll let it be known if you want to give your Facebook page out. I would love for people to be able to follow you so they do watch what I have seen. With that said, was there any time in there, and I already know this answer, where there was depression that had taken place and it got a hold of you for a little bit?
It did. It got a hold on me tremendously in the year 2018, because I saw the person who hit me in a public space, and the feeling of that impact just weighted on me, and it left me very depressed for about 2.5 years, where it mentally kind of destroyed me. Physically, I just kind of gave up, where I just gained a lot of weight and I didn't want to be active that much, where it just kind of put a still like a good standstill in my life a little bit. And with the depression, it came on with the PTSD, with certain things, and my anxiety just kind of rose up and everything. But like I said earlier, I had amazing family and friends that just helped me out through that. And I went to therapy and I talked about it. I didn't let anything bottle it up, because if you need help, it's okay to go and ask for help. It's okay to go talk to a stranger who kind of relate to you in a certain way, because you'll know at that moment that you are not alone. There's a world out there that you can be united in, a mentally or physical world. And depression did come along the way. And after years of, letting myself out there and showing my vulnerability and showing my courage, I learned that I don't have it as worse as I had it 2, 3, 4 years ago.
There's a lot of people that would say, um, oh, you don't understand what I've been through. Um, Everyone has something that's different that we wouldn't understand if we haven't been through it, but that's not for us to do a comparison, right? And for me,
No.
with my story, as well as yours or anyone else that has theirs and have shared it, it's one of those, I'll take back my cards. If I had to throw my story out there, I'd take mine back because I know how to work with mine. Would you agree?
I would agree, honestly. I feel like everyone, we do not compare it to anybody, because we're not in the same boat.
No.
All of us have a different boat that we all ship to our own different sink. But the one thing I always tell people is, if you ever felt heartbroken, if you ever felt rock bottom, if you felt joy and excitement, that's a feeling we can all relate to. I know it comes in different circumstances and it comes in different trials, but we all reach those trials in our life, and we can all feel connected in a domino effect. So I tell people, if you need to listen, if you need to talk, I'm here. I
So
will listen to you.
I do have to ask this one question just because it just came across my mind.
Mhm.
Nothing like driving for the first time or learning how to drive and then have something tragically happen in front of you. How is your niece doing after all this time?
She's doing amazing. Honestly, it took her a while to get better. She did seek out help and she moved on, but she learned how to drive. Took
Okay.
her a couple years. She's very independent now. She's an amazing young woman where she has her life together, and it feels like we look at each other. And I just hung out with her like a couple weeks ago, and we just sit and laugh, and we just have a bond where it's deeper than any of our relationships with, my other nieces or nephews. But we just feel like I see her, and I'm so proud of her because it didn't stop her. She moved on.
Good.
She became a teacher assistant with young children, and she learned how to drive, and she's very independent, and she's a strong young woman, and I'm very proud of my niece.
Good, because trauma will lock us in a place where we don't feel we can get out of it. So that's why I was asking, especially at 16 years old, learning how to drive, because driving is a privilege, and it's also a scary one at times too. So.
Oh, yes.
And now I understand that you have an art studio?
I do. I have an art studio in my house.
Tell us a little bit about it, because I believe this is part of your therapy too.
It is. Like I said, I have an art studio here in my house. I share it with my husband, so his half of the room is his office, and my other half is my art studio. But this is my place where I come and find my therapy. This is my place where if I have a lot on my mind, or, I can't physically get it out of me, I come and I paint away. And in the studio, I have all different types of medium. I have alcohol ink, watercolor, acrylic, oil, and I'll sit here and I'll just paint away. And it's something that brings me joy and peace to my life, that makes me feel like this is another talent that I have. I just don't have what you see in front of you. I also have this talent that I was blessed upon, against my chances. It makes me happy.
That's all that matters, right? What makes you happy, not what everyone thinks you need to be happy about. Now, is this stuff that you actually, do you teach classes with this, or is this just something personally for you?
No, honestly, at the beginning, it was personally for me because, like I said, I needed for therapy. But then I started going into gallery shows, and I started selling my art in public showings. And now I am an independent contractor with the University of Arizona. So I teach other people in my community who have paralysis or other type of disability, and I'll do an hour session with them. Wow. So I'm very grateful.
Look at that, something that was traumatic, found a talent you probably wouldn't have known you had, right?
Right.
And I'm not a fan of this phrase, and I say it all the time, even though I'm not a fan of it. It's like, things happen for a reason. I'm like, not really sure about that one. But I prefer to say, you find something find something different about yourself when something different has happened to you. And just because something has happened to you doesn't mean you have to be different, act different, or be treated different.
I actually love that phrase. I agree with you.
Yeah. Everyone's got a story. Just some more severe, maybe repeating. Maybe some people haven't figured out what it is that they need to do to find their talent or find their peace. I know personally mine was a little bit longer than probably most, but that's just how it works for me. I can't say that's for fact. But I love the fact that you have gotten back up and you're living your best life, and you're helping others with living their best life and a talent they probably didn't even know they had, or in being encouraging. So I thank you for that. With that said, do you have an email, your Facebook page, a web page, or any way that you want to be found if someone wants to reach out to you?
Absolutely. You guys, anybody can reach me on my personal Facebook. My account is just Norma Trujillo. I have a web little email that you can put. It's down there in the link. It's normasantos49@yahoo.com. And also, if anyone who's a new amputee or anything like that, you guys can find me on Hanger Clinic and Orthopedic website as well. I am one of the many few patients ambassadors with them as well.
An ambassador. Oh, I didn't even know that was even an option. Okay, I usually think of an ambassador of like the chambers. You want to give us a little bit more about how that helps others when you're an ambassador?
It gives other people hope and light to the guidance of a different change of what they're going through, knowing that there's a community out there that you're not alone. It helps connect each other by saying, hey, your life is getting different, but there's also resources and there's also a community as ourselves as amputees that help you adapt to this new world that you are facing, whether it's a, daily chores like stairs, elevators, restaurants, or anything like that, to a physical or even to a adapting, any type of lifestyle that you have, just to let them know that you're not alone in this. And by doing this, we put on twice a year an event where we show other people, if you want to go skiing, there's other patients out there that can show you how to ski. If you want to go horseback riding,
Nice.
if you want to learn how to drive or swim or anything, there's ways out there that we would come together and unite and connect you with anything that we have to make your life for full as much as possible.
I love that. So I have my final question. You probably don't remember it from 2019 when we spoke, so are you ready for this one? It's really easy, I think. This is where I get to learn more about someone, because if it was the only question you ask anybody, you could come up with an idea as to the type of person that they are. At least that's my analogy of it. So you ready?
Mm-hmm. I'm ready.
Okay. What message would you like to leave everyone based on your journey?
The message I like to give everyone is, don't give up. No matter how hard or how hopeless you feel, don't give up on yourself, because that's the most important person that you can actually reflect on is yourself. Give yourself some chance to live the best life that you can. And if you need to reach out for help, but don't ever doubt yourself for 1 second, because you are a beautiful individual that can come over anything.
That's beautiful. Living your best life. I think we have to decide what that best part is, whether it's putting our electronic devices down and actually seeing what's on the other side of them, or getting more involved in our community and to get to know other people, or finding a talent we didn't know we had, right?
Exactly. Or even if something's scary and you're faced to fear it, always try to get out of your comfort zone and always try to move forward with the best smile and best attitude that you have. Because sometimes the scariest things can lead to the most beautiful way in the world that you never knew.
100%.
And that's something I've learned throughout my 5 years of journey, where I'm terrified at moments of falling, and when I get the obstacle, I just raise myself back up.
Thank you, Norma, for being my guest today. I really do appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, and I truly am honored to be on your show.
Absolutely, and I will share this. And I want to thank my studio sponsor, the Motivated Mind Group, your local creative agency here in downtown Chandler. If you have a story you want to share, know someone who has a story, or you have a nonprofit organization in your community that's making a difference, I want to spotlight them. Please email me to the address of stories@christinehotchkiss.com. Until next time, everyone, I wish you well, and you take care.